Today I fucked up by farting during mass and making the priest laugh. This actually happened about an hour ago. I'm just now starting to come out of my humiliating shock. So, I'm sitting at mass listening to the reading when I feel a slight grumble in my stomach. Uh-oh. Gas. No biggie, this has happened before. I'll either wait for a song and let it go or wait for the homily, sermon for you Protestants, and sneak over into the bathroom and take care of business. But alas, my body had other plans. We stood to chant the psalm, the pressure is building, I'm starting to panic, not sure if I can hold it. We finish the psalm and the church goes to sit, and just as I land on the pew, it happened. Now this wasn't a quick fart, it was one of those that lasted a few seconds, a cheek rumbler, and the sound was amplified by the solid oak pew. It created a lovely vibrato that echoed off the walls and filled the church with what could best be described as Gabriel's trumpet. The church was quiet for a few seconds, then the giggling started. I looked up to the altar and the priest was physically trying not to laugh. The second reader ascended the altar. At this point, there is muffled laughter all around. Then, it happens. The priest stands up at his chair, says I'm sorry, I can't. And he runs off to the side entrance to the sacristy. I can hear him laughing. At this point I decide it's a total loss. I shamefacedly duck out of the back of the church, run to my car and have been hiding in my house ever since. Too long didn't read, farted during mass, made the priest laugh, and now I gotta find another church. It's okay, just turn the other cheek. As a fellow church farter, can verify wooden pews amplify nicely. God is not offended by farts. It's good to laugh in church. Well played. Just wish someone had shouted an amen. You should go back whenever they are doing confession and try to get into a confessional with this priest. Act all nonchalant and cool about it, and he'll ask about your sins and you can be all like I farted on your service, Father. Then post a follow-up here and say how many Hail Marys he charged you with. Edit, might wanna switch to Saturday Mass next week. As long as people don't know you did it, you're good. I mean, the dude ran away afterwards, so I'm imagining people know. Either way, it's not a big deal. Farts are funny and natural. As long as Op isn't dropping thunder every Sunday, he's fine. Today I fucked up by ejaculating in my bed. Throwaway obviously. This is a few months old, but I feel like I have to get it out of my head. So I know most people masturbate in the shower or in the toilet, but I've always done it in bed. I am living with my parents, so I guess I just like the privacy of my room. Then, and this is what I now realize is me being a fucking weirdo, when it was time I would just pull up the blanket, roll over to the side a bit and come onto the wall / below the bed. I never really thought much of it and it never smelled bad, so I just kept doing it because it was easy. Nobody noticed and people seldom visited my room anyway. After some years of doing this, I recently reached a few difficult points in my life, and this exacerbated my masturbation habits. I used to only masturbate like once a week or so, maybe that's why it didn't smell. But for a couple of weeks I started doing it every day, sometimes a few times a day. This usually wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary for a teenager, but since I was always ejaculating on my wall / bed, I began to get a bad cockroach infestation there. I didn't notice at first, and since I've never had cockroaches before, I didn't really know what they were, but eventually I read up on the internet that cockroaches like to live in dark, moist places in the house, and that made sense. At first I felt really disgusted. I wanted to exterminate them, but I definitely didn't want my parents to find out what happened, so I tried to kill them by flicking them into a bowl of water and watching them drown. But then I felt really bad. I don't know why, but it felt like murder. I didn't really dislike the cockroaches. I had never even seen cockroaches before and they were kind of interesting. So I decided to stop killing them and kind of just let them be for like a week. At this point I finally began masturbating in the shower. I know this sounds really weird, but I kind of began thinking of them as my children. It started out as a joke thought, but then it got more serious. Like, they were literally born out of my sperm. So in my mind it made sense that they were my offspring in a way. I actually want kids when I grow up. And this was kind of like that. I used to bring them food and stuff from the kitchen and play with them by moving them around the room or letting them crawl on me, and I just got really emotionally attached to them for a while, even though they were obviously just insects. Then my parents found out. I think my dad saw one in the kitchen, and immediately freaked out and called the exterminator the same day while I was at school. So we had to move out for about a week to an Airbnb, and I was really depressed the entire time, but I couldn't tell them why. They thought I just didn't like the Airbnb. Too long didn't read, I jerked off onto the wall and got a cockroach infestation. Does this make you? What is it with people coming in weird places? First come box, then the guy who always came on his carpet. Now we got Lord of the Cockroaches over here coming on his wall. I'm calling it right now, next guy is going to be obsessed with coconuts. Edit, my current top-rated comment with 900 plus upvotes is about a potential coconut molester. Thanks Reddit. Edit 2, sweet baby Jesus, I leave this comment for a few weeks and now I have over 5k upvotes and somebody gave me gold. Edit 3, please stop gilding me, I'd like to forget about this event. Good God Almighty. My dad used to have an infestation of those fuckers. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So of course op goes crazy cat lady with them. I would say I have no words, but shit. I honestly have too many. And I feel like I need a shower. Or just roll to the side of the bed. I always question people who leave cum in the open. Now I question people who leave cum in the open and have paternal instincts for the cockroaches that are attracted to it. You didn't really know what cockroaches were. Son, have you ever heard of something called a potato? Deleted. Today I fucked up by leaving my facial cleansing brush in my boyfriend's parents' bathroom. This happened 2 weeks ago and I've only just stopped cringing entirely when I think about it. My boyfriend and I were visiting his, quite conservative, parents' house for the weekend. I took a shower, and I remember feeling really smug because I remembered to bring all of my cleansing stuff with me, including my new cleansing brush. For anyone that doesn't know what it is, it's literally a small handheld electronic contraption with a brush at the end of it, and does a better job of cleansing your face and leaving your skin smooth AF than if you just used a flannel. After using it, I wrapped myself in a towel and was sorting out my shower bag when I had the amazing idea of detaching the brush from my cleanser, and leaving both parts on the windowsill to dry. It's important to note that I had the contraption body facing away, towards the window, so you could only really see the handle and then the back of the head of it. Anyway, everything's fine for a couple of hours. Boyfriend and I are sitting in his bedroom when his dad knocks on the door, gives me a really shifty look and then asks for a word with my boyfriend. We both looked at each other weirded out, but my boyfriend obliged and went outside to the hallway. After a few moments he comes back in a bit red in the face, sits down on the bed and says, "Why did you leave a sex toy in the bathroom?" Obviously I was perplexed, saying I really had no idea what he was talking about. He was embarrassed rather than accusatory, and explained his dad had briefly described it as pink with a big bulb, and then it hit me. I too went bright red and laughed rather uncomfortably as I explained what it was. Unfortunately, I didn't realize his dad was lingering outside the door still. You don't have to lie, bloated rabbit, it's okay, but just next time don't leave it around for everyone to see. I swear on my life it's a face cleanser, I said, rushing up and retrieving it with the brush attachment. I handed it over and he looked really sheepish and apologized, and we both had a bit of an awkward laugh about it. My boyfriend then decides to take the jokes up a notch and say how stupid his dad is, and how he's a dirty old man for thinking like that. His dad got a bit defensive, and his response still makes me want to crawl into a hole and die when I think about it. Well, I'm sorry, but it looks just like one of your mother's toys. I'm not religious at all, but when I say I wanted God to beam me up there and then, I'm not kidding. I felt like jumping out the window. The whole energy of the room shifted. His dad made a hasty retreat as my boyfriend stood there gobsmacked, and we didn't dare leave the bedroom again for the next couple of hours. Worst part was we had a family dinner that night, and his mum asked me about the facial cleanser and where to buy one. My boyfriend and his dad put their forks down at the same time. Talk about awkward. Too long didn't read, I left my facial cleansing brush on the windowsill of my boyfriend's conservative parents' bathroom. His dad found it, thought it was a sex toy, and when boyfriend took the piss he accidentally revealed it looked like one of my boyfriend's mum's toys. If mom knew about the debacle then that was one hell of a power move at the end, lol. Well, on the bright side, this sounds like a wonderful story to relive with the family years later. And perhaps like a moment of growth, transparency, sexual openness, and humanity. My mum had one of these, and for years I thought it was a sex toy. She used to keep a bottle of unlabeled gel beside it which I always assumed was lube. Nope, it was natural aloe vera gel that she got from a friend, and it was all pretty innocent. Edit, I do realize it's aloe vera, but I like the way it sounds, so I'm gonna leave it. My mom once walked into my room while my brother and I were chatting and playing video games and asked, "Do you have my vibrator?" I blinked several times, then looked over at my brother who was obviously just as confused and embarrassed as I was. I stammered something, I was so stunned I don't think it was actually words. My mom then seemed to pick up what we were thinking and finished the foot massager. Oh, that? Yeah. I retrieved the massager I had borrowed after a hiking trip and handed to her. "What did you think I meant?" Mom questioned. "Well, I mean, you said vibrator." I stammered. "Yeah, I was confused, too." My brother chimed in, laughing. "You two are weird," Mom replied and walked out of the room. Weirdest interaction I ever had with my mother. A foot massager can be used in a number of ways, maybe she revealed one of them. My first thought after reading this is OMG I'm dying, ha ha ha. Bad enough that the dad thought it was a sex toy, but dude, don't try to explain yourself with "well I'm sorry, but it looks just like one of your mother's toys." That killed it, ha ha.